Ball change of heart. Hi, everyone.
Hi, lovely. How are you?
I was dancing.
Oh, we're dancing. I just love that song. It is so fantastic. There are those legs. I hope you have them insured, young lady.
Thank you.
Do you insure those legs?
No. Should I?
Right. You should, because they're worth a fortune.
I would if they didn't have varicose veins on them.
Oh, no. Don't tell us that.
I know, sorry. But, you know, that's why I have to wear a nice tight.
Yes.
You wear a nice blue heaven tight.
Nobody knows.
I know.
Showbiz.
I know. And sometimes, you know, we wear a double tight. Don't tell.
Double tight with sparkle.
Yeah, exactly. Charlie King, I wore a little kimono for you. I thought, this is what Charlie would like me to wear.
Oh, I love it.
I'm not in my pajamas. I just threw this over my dance clothes. I mean, my workout clothes.
Well, you look zabulous.
Thank you. Zazzy.
Zazzy. You look zazzy. Well, I'm going to give you a zazzy introduction because you deserve it. Here we go. The overture to the producers, the show where we met. Because my guest today is a Broadway showgirl superstar of 11 Broadway shows with an Astaire and a Chita Rivera nomination and a career that dreams are made of. This glamorous gymnast from Kentucky first onto the Broadway stage in 1991 in the Will Rogers Follies, starring Tommy Tune and Never Looked Back, and has been a favorite of many, many Broadway greats like Susan Stroman, Jerry Mitchell, Mark Sheehan, and Scott Whitman. I think she is also the only person I know that has ever had a Broadway show written for her. Ladies and gentlemen, The Prom. I wonder what that little girl from Kentucky would say to that, huh, Angie? So please welcome and give some zazz to the always fabulous and much loved Angie Schworer.
Oh, wow, that was so sweet. Oh,
that's your career.
You're making me emotional.
Oh, good.
Charlie, I think we've known each other for, I guess, 18 years because the producers has been 20, right?
Yeah, so that's right. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your amazing career, but I always have to say a huge thank you to you because you are so fabulous. You went on and started Ula on the first tour, which then gave me my Broadway debut. So I have you to thank for my debut on Broadway. So thank you.
You know what, a fun fact that the people are probably you're going to kill me for saying this, but whenever I think of Charlie King, whenever I see you, and I know I've seen you since then, but when you came into rehearsal, I remember being next door at Angus. Was it Angus or Brasserie still then? I can't remember. But
Angus McKinsey.
And you had this little cute red plaid skirt on. It was really short, and you looked fabulous. Oh, and like maybe a knee sock and a boot. And I was like, so whenever I think of you, the vision of that whole ensemble comes into my mind, and I just think it's just fabulous. So every time I hear Charlie King, I have that visual.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And did you or did you not learn how to do a front handspring walkout? Like you did you know how to do one, or you like learned to do it?
Yes, I did acrobatics as a kid as well. Yes.
Oh, so you did, okay.
Yeah, but I'm not as good as you, because you were like a world proper gymnast, weren't you?
Well, when I was a kid.
Yeah, which I didn't know. So I'm researching you was really fun. So, well, I never knew that about you, that you were a gymnast.
Yeah, I think my mother was very disappointed when I left it because she really wanted me to do it. But then when I turned like 12 or 13, I started getting afraid. You know, you started like doing a standing back tuck on a balance beam started to screw with your mind, you know. Yeah. And then I wanted to be with my friends, you know, that thing, you know. Yeah. And plus, my gym coach thought that my gymnastics coach thought I was going to be too tall anyway, because he thought back in the day, in the covered wagon days, you can measure your feet when you're a baby to see how tall you're going to be. Yeah. So I have very tiny feet. So he thought I was going to be 5'6".
And you
he should see me now.
Yeah. What are you now? You're 5'11"?
Almost. I'm sure I've shrunk a little bit.
Amazing. No.
I'm sure I've shrunk.
That's amazing. 5'11". You and I were kind of born at the right time for the shows that we did, because, and thank the Lord for Susan Stroman, who loves her tall showgirls.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
It was the
really,
perfect eras for those, you know. And
yeah,
Stroh's been responsible for over half of my career.
yeah.
The
She's
30 years, 3 decades. So she's responsible for probably definitely over half of
amazing.
those years.
Crazy for You, the producers, Young
Both
Frankenstein.
both producers, First National and that, Young
This
Frankenstein,
time.
Big Fish, The Merry
Yeah.
Widow at the Met, Big Fish Out of Town, Broadway Crazy for You, First National Crazy for You. So I think it's like 9 productions.
Oh,
Thank
bless.
God for her. Thank God
We
for our Stroh
we love our
and our
Stroh.
Warren.
And our Warren who's listening.
I know.
We love our Warren. So take us back, Miss Angie. I want to know what the little Angie was like when she was growing up in Kentucky. Did you always want to be a dancer? Who was your inspiration at that time?
Well, I had I just been dancing my whole life since I was 5. It started at the Ziegler's Studio of Dance, which just closed this year because of COVID. And
Oh,
my dance teachers, one of them is 90 years old. So it took him 71 years of teaching and a pandemic to close that studio. It was still open until
wow.
then. But I started doing acro and tap dance, jazz, ballet, you know, an hour and a half once a week, and
Yeah.
just loved it. I don't know that I knew what it was going to do for me or where it was going to take me, but I did have other people in my dance studio like Leroy Reams, who was
Yes.
obviously a little older than I was, but I knew that he had gone to Broadway.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, but I knew he was there.
But you know, when you said Ziegler, when I was reading it as well, I thought that's really familiar. And then it was because I had Leroy on the show as well. And yeah, he
Oh, yeah.
mentioned his
So
jazz
that's why
school.
Ziegler Studio of Dance. So we both
Wow.
went there and obviously ended up working together in the producers, which was the first time that we had
Amazing.
worked together. So I think I just took every little thing I could and it ended me here. But I don't think I ever was like, I have to be on Broadway. I just took the jobs that came to me, whether it was Busch Gardens was my very first professional job. I was in the German show, yes,
Oh,
braids, German dress, Dirndl,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Um, and I worked at Disney. I was a showgirl in Atlantic City. I was a showgirl in Japan. I opened up MGM Studios at Disney, and through someone I had worked with there, got my audition for my first Broadway show because he was my dance partner at Disney, and called me on the landline. You know what a
What's that?
landline is?
With the answer machine that you used to run home to see how
Oh,
many
oh
messages
yeah,
you
yeah.
had.
Oh yeah, that's how I found out. But someone handed me a pink slip from the entertainment office and said DJ Salisbury would like you to call him. So I did. He said, I think you'd be perfect for the show. One of the prerequisites was you had to be over 5'8".
Yeah.
So I had that one. And so I did. And I don't know where I got the courage to do this, but I told DJ, I said, I'm going to I spliced together like a VHS tape of all the things I was doing on the property, which included some spotting walkovers, which I did at the Diamond Horseshoe. And I put it together because I thought if they don't like what I look like,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to spend the money to fly up there. You know, I don't
Smart.
know where this 24-year-old got that
God
idea,
bless you.
but I did it. And Jeff Calhoun said, have her come up. So I came up and auditioned and found out on my answering machine when I got the job. And then I gave it when it was time for me to come, I gave a 2 weeks notice at Disney and came here. I had put a down payment on a house. I was going to live in Orlando. I love working at Disney. I loved working for that company.
Wow.
So I pulled my down payment and I moved to New York City.
Wow. And Will Rogers Follies was your first Broadway show.
Yeah.
Wow. And the people that were in that show with you, you had Tommy Tune. I mean,
well, and Katie Huffman, Jerry Mitchell Katie was starred in it and were nominated for a Tony, and Jerry Mitchell was in the ensemble with me. So as a swing, I was a swing. So I had to learn all the women's parts. So occasionally I'd get to be Jerry's partner. And there was Troy Johnson, John Gannett, you know, those boys were so helpful to me moving here and learning the ropes. And as a swing, my dressing room was on the 5th floor at the Palace. So it was next to theirs. So I got to know them more than most of the women because I never sat in the chairs long enough downstairs, right?
Yeah.
As a swing. So it was great. I learned a lot, and Jerry took me under his wing. And I think the first day of rehearsal, at the Nederlander. We hadn't moved to the Palace yet. So it was our out of town. at the Nederlander.
Right.
And it had to be on a stage because the stage was all steps. So we had to have a stage. It couldn't be in a rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
And the first day of rehearsal, I think he asked me to come over, and watch some videos of some things that he had choreographed and have a drink or whatever. And so we've been friends ever since. So
I love that.
and then I've done so many free things for him. But then he finally hired me in Catch Me If You Can. So many freebies.
Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to do that to get to that point.
Yeah.
And just because you want to and you love it, you don't do it,
I know. I have done some crazy things for him, like wearing a gray unitard on national television in the Rosie O'Donnell show for Y2K, You're a Superstar. I was a Y2K bug. I also wore a Swiss Army knife in Catch Me If You Can. So you're welcome.
He owes you. But if anyone can wear a gray unitard on national TV, it's you.
No, it blended in with my skin.
But starting off at Will Rogers Follies is incredible. I mean, that's what a start on Broadway. And then did you just go from show to show after that? Do you just...
Well, depending on how you think of it, I was never one to leave a show until I had something else. You know what I mean? I just was that person.
Yeah.
Because to me, even after every show, it was like I'm never going to get another show, in my mind. So I would wait. And so that's when I auditioned for Stro for the first national tour of Crazy for You. Kind of, we kind of fell in love with my Stro and that whole time. And then I did leave the tour after about a year, and then someone left here on Broadway. So I think, I'm not sure, I might have written a handwritten note to her to ask if I could take over for Penny Ann Moss. It might have been a handwritten note. I don't know.
You got to do what you got to do.
I don't think I would have been brave enough to call her. I don't remember.
Are you leaving the show? I want to replace you.
There's a handwritten note in there. So I wrote Stro and just said, is it possible that I could replace Penny Ann? And so I did. And then I don't remember. I think that I moved into someone else's slot, but I ended up doing about a year and a half and closed it on Broadway. The show had to close. I didn't leave.
See, I drag you out.
I'm not leaving. Yeah.
Well, I know, because you did the producers for 6 years. Yeah.
The entire time.
That's an incredible journey, your producer's journey, starting off in the ensemble, understudying Katie, going on, being amazing, then getting the first national tour, then coming back to Broadway, doing Broadway for a long time, and then going to LA, doing it with
Nathan. You kind of did the same thing. Didn't you bounce around to every...
I did after you. Yes, I followed. I'm an Angie follower. I followed you. Went to the national tour. Went to LA.
We were like, oh no, who's there? Charlie? No, Angie. We don't.
Yeah, yeah.
That was an incredible time. Thank you. It was. It's one of the highlights. Let's just say that. And what an incredible show. And I don't think when we did that out of town in Chicago, and then we found out we were just coming straight in. It just doesn't happen like that. And then winning all the Tonys, and then lasting for 6 years. It's the longest show that I've ever been in, or that, I know shows have run a lot longer, but it was an incredible journey. And you may or may not know this, or may not be interested, but they told me I would never go on. You know that, right?
Really? No, I had no idea.
Because we all know how vocally challenged I am, but I couldn't sing it in Katie's key while dancing. Does that make sense?
Super high for Kate. It's super high.
It's a high belt, and Katie, she is trained as an opera singer. She's fantastic. I could do it without moving. It wasn't great, but once you added in the all the dancing, and then you had to sing, I just didn't have it. I mean, I practiced that back walk over off the desk, off my bed, singing that note 1,000 times, right? And in rehearsal, I just didn't get it. So they were like, I was the second cover, and they're like, you'll probably never go on. Cut to, once again, I don't know where I got this courage, because it's not really in my nature. I asked Patrick S. Brady, I said, I know that I'm funny. I know I'm the right type. I know I can dance it. So what can we do? And he gave me my own key. I'm not sure. I think it was a half step lower or something. It just sat different.